Let's talk the cut. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk the cut. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler Virtual Book Club, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube platform, the Let's Talk to Cutler moment when we spend 1,800 seconds together, where it is always my goal to try and offer something that's inspirational, something that's motivational. And if it's not inspirational or motivational, it is always my hope that it's something that would challenge us to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. Because life happens, and when I take this moment to show up, I'm always aware that words have impact, and words can sometimes carry weight with them. So I'm thankful for this moment, and I want to talk about something this evening that I think we too often take for granted, and I won't get too excited. Um, but I'm excited about this conversation. I want to remind us that you are closer than you think. If you've set goals, if you have aspirations, if you have hopes, if you have dreams, you are closer than you think. And my encouragement this evening is that you just hang on to your dreams, hold on to your hopes, lay hold to your aspirations, don't let go, do whatever you need to keep them. You are closer than you think. Now, before I get into that conversation, I just want to say thank you to those of you who have been with me for a while, and those of you who have been with me for all of these years. We've been doing this for almost 6 years now, you all. So I want to say thank you to you all, my community, my village, my supporters. And so I don't take that for granted, because you really support me, and I appreciate that. But we're going to get into this in just a moment. I'm really chomping at the bit to get there, so I'm just trying to control myself here. Now, let me just do a shout out to the LTTC VIP. So the people who show up in the chat first. Now, I see some of you on, but you're not over in the chat yet. Come on over in the chat so we can see you, so we can talk to you. I promise you won't bite. And some people may even have snacks for the rest of the group. So come on over. But let me shout out the LTTC VIPs. Those first three that I see on my end who showed up in the chat first. I'm chuckling because there is Jay Song for you. Hello, 1,800 seconds. Yes, we're gonna do this in 1,800 seconds. And then there's Marissa, who says good evening, everyone. And then there's Linda Martin, who says good evening, all. Good evening to all of you as well. I hope that you had a fantastic weekend. Here we are. It is the last day of March, and we are already in the throes of spring, and the pollen is doing what it does. But it just comes with the year, comes with what we experience, what we go through. Some people will complain in the winter it's too cold, in the summer it's too hot, in the fall too many leaves to rake, in the spring too much pollen. But so we just have to take the seasons as they are, be thankful that we see them, and keep right on going. You all, I want to talk this evening about understanding that you're closer than you think. Some of the greatest losses in life did not happen because people failed. And I was having this thought early today, so I just want to pace myself and go slow, because I get really excited about this. But some of the greatest losses in life didn't happen because people failed. They happened because people stopped. Let that soak in for a moment. Let that soak in for a moment. Not because they didn't have what it takes, not because they weren't called to do what they were doing, not because it wasn't meant for them, but because they thought they were farther away than they really were. And so this evening, I just wanted to share with us, and I want somebody to know, because I'm just here to help try to save somebody's life. I want you to know something simple, but I think it's powerful. And that is, you are closer than you think. You're closer to your dreams. You're closer to your goals. You're closer to your hopes. You're closer to your aspiration. Have you ever been working on something? And I'm being very transparent. Have you ever been working on something and it just felt like nothing was happening? Like you were putting in the effort, you were doing what you were supposed to do, you were showing up, you were doing the work, and you just did not see any results. Have you ever felt like that? That's not a good feeling. And as a matter of fact, it's a threatening and ominous and dangerous feeling because it makes you question what I call progress. It'll make you not only question whether or not you're making progress, but it will cause you to question purpose. Am I doing the right thing? And if you're not careful, you'll end up quitting too soon. One of the greatest tricks of discouragement, and so let's label that as discouragement. One of the greatest tricks that discouragement will play on us. If this is not you, I want to empower you to share this message with somebody else. So if you don't find that this is you, go and tell somebody, come on, for real, come on, let's talk to color. The man is just trying to help save somebody's life. So if this is not you, perhaps it empowers you to share this conversation with somebody else, reminding them that one of the greatest tricks that discouragement can play on us is making us believe that we're so far away, when the truth of the matter is that we're actually making progress. Discouragement says, why did you even start? Discouragement says you have so far to go. Discouragement says you will never reach the end. Discouragement says your dreams will never become true. But what discouragement does not do, it does not let us know that we're actually making progress. Can I tell you that growth doesn't always show up immediately? This is me being transparent. And I'm going to share with you all a real story from my life, as I always do. But growth doesn't show up immediately. And I think sometimes we're in a day and age where we're looking for instant gratification. But think about it. For all of the brothers and the sisters who go to the gym, you don't see muscle the first day you go to the gym. I grew up on a farm. I grew up in a farm area. You don't always see harvest the day after you plant the seed. When we decide to make personal changes in our lives, you don't always see transformation the moment you decide to change. Growth does not show up immediately. But I want you to know that just because you can't see movement, it doesn't mean nothing is moving. Something is happening even when you can't measure it. It's happening. It may be happening behind the scenes. It may be happening outside the purview of anybody else, but something is happening. Let me tell you where most people lose. They don't lose at the beginning. Most people lose in the middle, you all. They lose right at the end. Right before the thing shifts, right before the breakthrough, right before the results show up, they get tired. And they mistake fatigue for failure. Let me know if I'm talking to anybody this evening. Let me know if I'm talking to anybody this evening. People get tired. And fatigue weighs in and starts wearing people down. And they mistake fatigue for failure. What I've discovered is fatigue will lie. Fatigue will lie. Fatigue will tell you it's over when it's really almost the time. When it's almost victory time, when it's almost success time, when it's almost win time. Fatigue will lie to you and tell you that it's over. You can be tired, but you can still progress even in the midst of being tired. How many of us watch our parents, those who went before us, who came before us? They were fatigued, they were tired, but they kept on moving. Many of us have the same testimony. Many of us have the same journey. There have been times when we've been tired, exhausted, but we kept on moving. You can be tired and still make progress. Cutler, are you sure? I'm absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure. And I'll give you a few signs to let you know that you're closer than you think. And these are pages from my book. pages from my life. Signs to let you know that you're closer than you think. One of the ways you can tell that you're closer than you think is when you feel resistance. Pressure is not always a problem. Sometimes it is a sign that you're closer than you think. Resistance often increases when your breakthrough is near. Think about a rubber band. When you start stretching a rubber band, you get more resistance, and you get more resistance just before the thing is about to break. It is the same way with life, you all. It is the same way with goals and hopes and dreams and things that you work hard toward and things that you want in life. Pressure is not always the problem. Sometimes it is a sign that a breakthrough is near. So understand that. Understand that that is one way you can know that you're closer than you think, when you start feeling resistance. Another way that you can know that you're closer than you think is when you feel uncomfortable. Because what I've learned in these 60 years is that growth will stretch you. And stretching never feels good. Stretching never feels good. Sometimes that growth that stretches you, it doesn't feel good. I don't know if I've shared this with you all, but I remember when I was 13, and the summer I went between 13 and 14. And I remember I graduated from junior high school. And so during that summer, I grew 3 inches in one summer. It was painful. So my junior high school classmates, when they saw me at the end of the school year, by the time they saw me at the beginning of my high school year, they said, "What in the world happened to you?" I grew 3 inches in one summer. And I remember how painful that was. Can I tell you, growth stretches you, and it is never comfortable. It is never comfortable. But comfort does not produce change. Pressure does. Pain does. And so I want us to understand that. I need us to get that. Sometimes when you're uncomfortable, that is a sign that you're closer than you think. And sometimes when you're seeing listen, I had to go back. I remember that summer, and I was so glad. I was so glad that I waited. That was back in the day when we would buy school clothes during the summertime. And I was so glad that I did not buy my school clothes early in the summer, but I waited until the end of the summer before I bought my school clothes. What am I saying? Sometimes it's okay to wait through your pain. It's okay to wait through your pain because you are closer than you think. Another thing is that you don't necessarily see big wins. You don't see huge, magnanimous or humongous wins. Sometimes you're just seeing small wins. But small progress is still progress. A small win is still a win. A little success is still success. A tiny victory is still a victory. Progress is still progress, no matter how small it is. Hang in there. Hang in there. You're really closer than you think. Progress doesn't always make a whole lot of noise. It doesn't. But it's still progress. Sometimes you know that you're closer than you think. And I know this from my own advice, from my own experience. Sometimes you're closer than you think when you feel confused or uncertain. And I never like to feel uncertain or unsure or confused, because I thought I was such the intellect. I didn't say I thought I was so intelligent. No, I thought I was the intellect. I would always reason and rationalize things. But sometimes when you feel confused or uncertain, let me help somebody right there. Confusion does not always mean that you're lost. It can sometimes mean that you're simply transitioning from what used to be into what is going to be. Confusion does not always mean that you're lost. And I didn't like to be in that gray space. For me, it was either black or white. It was either hot or cold. It was either right or left. And so I didn't like that space in the middle. But what I now understand that I did not know at the time was that it was just a transition. So sometimes feeling confused and uncertain is not a sign. It is not a sign of being lost. It is not a sign of defeat. It is simply a sign that you are transitioning in life, that you're transitioning. I remember this time in my life, and I'll share this with you all. I graduated from law school, had earned a doctorate in jurisprudence, a doctorate. And I did everything that I was supposed to do. I finished the degree. I put in the work. I did the research. There were times when I went to bed at 3 o'clock, got back up at 6, or went to bed at 4 and got back up at 5. And so I earned the degree. And then I stepped into the season that I wasn't prepared for. Because mind you, I had worked, I had a career before going to law school. I put my career aside to go back to school. I put my career aside to go to law school. And so now, after graduating from law school, here's something that happened, a season that I was not prepared for. I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a job. With a doctorate in law, I could not find a job. I sent out resume after resume after resume, over 100 resumes, and nothing, absolutely nothing. Nothing happened. Meanwhile, my classmates were getting hired. They were getting hired by firms. They were getting hired by different places in the city. I went to law school in Atlanta, and they were getting hired. All throughout the class, they were getting hired. People that I sat next to, people that I studied with, and they were moving forward. And I felt like I was standing still. Felt like I was standing still. And then I finally got an opportunity, got a wonderful opportunity. I was offered a job with the mayor's administration, the mayor at the time administration. And I thought, this is it. This is the door. This is what I've been waiting for. But guess what? There was a whole lot of chaos with that administration, and they froze the position. And they stopped returning my calls. They wouldn't even answer my call. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I just decided to share it. And so now I was just waiting, confused, discouraged. And I started questioning everything. Why did I give up my career to go to law school? Started questioning everything. If the Creator cares so much for me, why in the world would He let this happen to me? I started questioning everything. Can I tell you, when they stopped returning my calls, when they didn't even answer my emails, nothing would test your resilience like silence. Nothing will test your strength like silence. Particularly silence after you've put forth the effort and all you get is silence. Again, I'd done the work and I had positioned myself, so I thought, and nothing was happening the way I expected it. But what I did not realize in that moment, and sometimes retrospect, hindsight is always 20/20, but what I did not realize in that moment was that I wasn't being denied, I was being redirected. Let that line soak in. I'm almost about to grab myself or grab the sides of this chair. There are moments, you all, that can look like moments of doubt and discouragement and depression and despondency. But may I tell you that those are not necessarily moments where you're being denied. Those are moments where you're being redirected. And sometimes redirection takes a little longer than you want. Because for me, I eventually got a call. I was living in Atlanta, had finished law school there in Atlanta, looking for a job in Atlanta, had been denied, had been offered a job by the mayor's administration, but chaos was going on, turmoil was taking place, and they didn't call me back. Silence. And I said, my whole world is crumbling. I gave up my career to come to law school for this. But may I tell you that eventually I got a call. I got a call from a university in the Washington, D.C. area. And what felt like delay, what felt like disappointment, what felt like doors closing was actually positioning me for something better than I had originally ever planned. Can I tell you that what sometimes feels like a setback really can be a setup? I'm just trying to encourage somebody. I'm trying to encourage somebody to hold on and understand that you're closer than you think. I'm just trying to share with you the pages from my life so that you can be encouraged, so that you can be inspired, so that you can be motivated. What can sometimes feel like a setback is truly a setup. And we don't see that when we're in the midst of a thing. Because had I quit in that season, had I stopped sending out resumes, had I allowed discouragement to win, I would have missed the opportunity that was already on the way. I would have missed it. I would have missed it. Because breakthrough and victory were not screaming at me. They were not yelling at me. Success was not yelling. But can I tell you all that sometimes success and breakthrough, they will often whisper before they show up. And I'm telling you, what I didn't see then, I understand now. What I did not see then, I understand now. And that is, I was closer than I thought. That's all I'm trying to share. So how, Cutler, do you keep going when you feel like stopping? Can I tell you this? Focus on the next step. Don't overwhelm yourself with the whole journey, because the same way that I did not see the whole journey at the time, I now know all I should have done was just focus on the next step. You don't need the whole picture. You just need the next step. You don't need the whole picture. All you need is the next step. How do you keep going? How do you keep going? Stop measuring only by results. Sometimes all we're looking at are results. But results will sometimes lag behind. Have you all ever done something and you didn't see the fruit of your labor until maybe months or weeks or years later? You were looking for the results, but sometimes the results are so slow showing up. But just because it has not shown up yet does not mean it's not on the way. So stop measuring only by results, because sometimes they don't show up when you're looking for them. What do you need to do? Stay connected to purpose. Stay connected to purpose, because feelings and emotions will fluctuate, but purpose won't. Let me say that again. Feelings are fickle. Our emotions will have us topsy-turvy, upside down, thinking one day we're on top of the world, and the next day the world is on top of us. Feelings and emotions will fluctuate, but purpose doesn't. So stay connected to purpose. This is my why. This is the reason I do what I do. Stay connected to your why. Stay connected to the reason why you get up in the morning. Stay connected to the reason why you do what you do. Stay connected to the reason why you show up. Stay connected to the reason why you are like you are. Stay connected to why you be like you be. Stay connected to purpose. And if you need to rest from time to time, rest, but don't quit. Take a break if you need to. There's nothing wrong with going on sabbatical, nothing wrong with taking a break. Resting is not quitting. Regrouping is not failure. Going on sabbatical is not turning and walking away. Let me say this. I still have a few more minutes, you all. I want to leave us with something for these last few moments. Don't let a temporary feeling, do not let a temporary feeling cause you to make a permanent decision. I told you, feelings fluctuate. And sometimes those feelings are temporary. And based on those temporary feelings, we make permanent decisions. Am I talking to anybody? Am I talking to anybody? Is this making sense? Don't let a temporary thing cause you to make a permanent decision. Because you did not come this far in life, in your career, in your journey, on your path. You did not come this far just to stop here. And some of us are ready and willing to throw our hands up. Sometimes we're just ready to say, oh, there's nothing else for me to do. What can I do? There's nothing else for me. But you didn't come this far. Your life still has purpose. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. Your life still has purpose. And so you didn't come this far just to drift into the background and to no longer be seen. Your life still has meaning. Your life has purpose. And you're closer to some of the goals. Some of us just need to go back to resetting goals and understand that you're closer to them than you really think you are. The things sometimes that some of us have been praying for, some of the things that we've been working hard towards, some of the things that we've been believing for. Can I say this? Hang in there. Hang in there. You're not starting over. You're closer than you think. Sometimes we've washed our hands, think, I have to start all over. No, 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 no. You don't have to start all over. Stay with it. Stay consistent. Be faithful. Be committed to the cause. Be committed to the purpose. Because what you cannot yet see is already on the way to you. What you cannot see, don't do that, Cutler. What you cannot see yet might see you. You don't see victory yet, but can I tell you, victory sees you? You may not see success yet, but success sees you. You may not see those moments of triumph, but they see you. Don't throw them out the window. Don't throw them out the door. You're closer than you think. I didn't even use the whole 1800 seconds. Wow, how about that? I want to say thank you all for listening. And if this encouraged you, I want you to take this conversation and share it with somebody who might be closer than they think. Share this with somebody who might be closer than they think. Because victory sees you. Lotus Egyptian flower, my friends, yes, what you cannot see yet sees you. And if we give up, if we forfeit, if we give up, if we forfeit, it means that we have made a permanent decision about a temporary state of being. Thank you, Linda. Delay is not deny. Let's keep doing what we do, you all. Let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our hopes up. Let's keep our heads up. And I want you all to be encouraged. I want you all to be encouraged. Thank you, Annie Cullen says, be encouraged and keep encouraging. But I want you all to be encouraged. And then I want to deputize you to go and encourage somebody else. Say, hey, hang in there. You're closer than you think. If you can't convince them, tell them, come on, let's talk to Cutler. And then send them the link to watch this replay. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Linda. Let's keep on keeping on. And please know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Thank you all for being a part of my community and a part of my village. I sincerely appreciate you more than you will ever know. I'll see you the next time I see you. Good night, everybody.